Well, it's increasingly accepted, the wisdom of this age is that everybody is allowed to define his or her own identity. Your gender is not determined by your chromosomes. Race is a social construct, not a matter of genetics. Jadu is simply taking that wisdom to its logical conclusion. Born a white male named Adam Wheeler, Jadu now identifies as a Filipina woman and joins us tonight. Jadu, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tuck.
So I'm not here to mock you, but just to ask you sincere questions. Among them, what does your mom think of this?
Well, you know, she did eventually find out with, you know, all the stories going on about me and about my group. Yeah, she's kind of still trying to come to the realization that I'm not exactly joking.
That you're not joking that you went from being a white man to a Filipino woman.
Well,
I mean,
sorry, I'm sorry for.
So what did she say? Did she accept that?
Well, she saw one of the stories that went on about me, and you know, she came in the door, you know, like hysterically laughing, and I didn't know what was going on. I came downstairs, and she's holding a phone with a video that was made about me on YouTube, and she was just, you know, cackling, saying, "This is the best thing ever," and you know, I can reflect on myself in the third person, and I can see why it's silly, and it is silly.
It sounds like she doesn't take it that seriously.
Yeah, and I try,
so do you take it
seriously?
I guess the reason I want to talk to you was, I've always wondered if we are telling kids, or if adults are agreeing that you can change your sex, why not change your race? Why would that be not allowed? Why would we consider that impossible?
Exactly.
When did that occur to you that you wanted to do that?
Well, in short, you know, the Filipino culture just kind of resonated with me, and you know, again, I can see in the I can look at myself in the third person, and you know, I understand it's silly, and you know, identity issues are issues. You know, it's a very small part of myself, as well as my transsexuality, but you know, a lot of people like yourself, you know, find it interesting, and I'll talk about it.
Well, I just think it's interesting that things that we thought were immutable and that scientifically remain immutable, like your sex or your race, now we're saying that you can change. I wonder, since you believe you've changed your race, do you think the rest of us spend, or the left particularly, seems to invest so much significance in race? You're this race, you're this race, each one is very different from the other. That's kind of the whole point of being a progressive now. Do you think they put too much emphasis on race?
I think they do, and I think in some instances they use race as kind of a basis to divide people, and I'm talking about what's it called? And I'm talking about intersectionality, where you have two people that are all of a sudden enemies just for simply existing. You know, I don't like that. You know, I wish people would just talk to each other instead of trying to silence each other with you know, draconian systems that they try to implement into laws.
Well, they must be deeply, I mean, I'm surprised I'm saying this, I agree with you completely. They must be deeply offended by you then.
Exactly. You know, I tell a lot of people that, you know, the LGBT community and you know, there are some left communities as well that aren't as tolerant as they may seem. I actually think a lot of the same things you do. I'm just a little bit weird.
Yeah. That's fair to say. I mean, yeah. I mean, your mom agrees. So I don't think it's news to anyone. So, like, we give all kinds of rewards based on race, and then we also punish on the basis of it. And you're saying, you're breaking the rules by saying, well, then I'm just going to change mine. I mean, that must drive the people who are making these rules totally crazy.
I suppose so. You know, I don't believe you. I don't believe you can actually change your sex, and I don't believe you can actually change your race. You know, you're born as you are. But really, that's why I refer to transgenderism, or however you would like to call it, as gender dysphoria. You know, like it is a problem, and even fully transitioned people, I would say, must be unhappy, because if you have to strive so differently from where you began, are you really happy? Are you?
I don't know. I can't answer that question, and I think you should know I don't think you're allowed to believe that, and probably could be arrested for saying it. So good luck, Jaddu. Tell us if you need help getting out of jail. Thank you.
All right.